Hey, and Candy the Wonder Pop, sit. Hey, Paul, come up. There we go. That's to buy me peace because she'll jump all over me if I don't give her that. I'm going to be talking faster than I normally do because I want this to be short and quick. I don't want to be long. So the preamble, like, subscribe, share, blah, 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 do all that stuff. And the question I posed in the subject line to this video is how to defeat Trudeau's Liberals. And I'm going to be leaning on my past experience studying political science at university. I spent 10 years growing up in the US, so I know their system. I come from a political junkie family. I'm not saying that I am the expert on politics, but I do have a perspective. Top of that, I, for a number of years, worked as a sales and marketing exec. And then I went into a military career in the communications branch. So I'm going to be blending that all together and talking about how to defeat Trudeau's Liberals. Firstly, there's a tendency now, there's a tendency always, but especially now since the COVID era, we have been driven into our echo chambers. We've all heard the word echo chamber. People now basically only interact with people who share their own opinion. Maybe not only, but a large part of our discourse. We seek out like-minded people. We seek out our tribe. And I have heard people say to me, oh, there's no way Trudeau's Liberals get reelected. There's no way. And the reason they have that overwhelming opinion is because that's all they hear coming back to them, the echo chamber. They don't like Trudeau, and they don't like it, the way he's subjugating, how he's moving us toward a dictatorial system of government. And so they only talk to like-minded people. So they think oh, any tiny minority, there's no way he gets reelected. Well, leaning on the military side, one Sun Tzu's Art of War, know your enemy, and always respect your enemy. Do not assume your enemy is stupid. That's a surefire recipe for failure. And so we must assume that those who support Trudeau, especially those working to get his government reelected, that they're smart and that they are strong. Don't operate under the false assumption that this is going to be a walk in the park. And so how are we going to defeat Trudeau's Liberals? It's going to require getting away from our typical Canadian politeness. There's a tendency amongst anyone, the larger population, regardless of political stripe, in social situations, to leave politics alone. It's too divisive, it's too controversial, it spurs animosity. And so people, Canadians especially, tend to back off. We don't want to discuss it. We don't want to stir the pot. Well, the pot needs stirring because with the CBC, I don't know how much money they get every year. It's over $1 billion, and I think it's $350 million being doled out to our mainstream media, legacy media outlets. That is where most people will get their information. If we're not discussing it amongst our friends, our family, our colleagues, our acquaintances, if we're just getting programming from the media, that's what it is, programming. And I'm going to say that at best, the media is going to portray Trudeau as the lesser evil. There'll be a thin veneer of impartiality, but it is very easy to steer the population and to get them to do the bidding of their masters. And when you look at who's driving this Great Reset agenda, I'm assuming I'm preaching to the choir here, that I'm preaching to those who recognize what Trudeau is leading us toward. And, he's beholden to the World Economic Forum, not to Canadian citizens. And he's actually subjugating Canadian citizens. And there's a term in politics referred to as wedge politics. You're looking for a wedge. You're looking for a way in. You're looking for a way to pry support away from the Liberals. And we just got handed those who do not want Trudeau reelected. We just got handed a huge gift. Trudeau's government has announced that they are redesigning the Canadian passport, and they are removing Terry Fox's image from our passport. And we can juxtapose this, we can contrast it with what happened during the Ottawa trucker protest. What happened was some of the protesters adorned, decorated Terry Fox's statue with a Canadian flag. They tied the Canadian flag around him like a cape, Captain Canada. I would deem that an act of respect. Trudeau called it desecration. Jagmeet Singh referred to it as desecration. They desecrated the statue of Terry Fox. That was not a desecration. It's a very pejorative word. It conjures up negative images of people spray painting or something. They put a Canadian flag on it. And the same individual who said that the protesters desecrated is now removing Terry Fox from our passport. That is something that I believe will resonate with a lot of Canadians, regardless of their political leanings, and cause a wedge to pry them away from this indoctrination they've had that Trudeau's keeping us safe. That's one thing I read in a CBC News article, that the redesign of the Canadian passport is designed to keep Canadians safe. Oh, so you're removing Terry Fox's image from the passport to keep us safe? We need safety from the government, from this regime of Trudeau's. We don't need Trudeau providing safety. We need safety from him. We need him gone. So, I mean, that's one way. And what I'm going to suggest is that we need to talk about this at work, in the lunchroom, or on wherever your workplace is. And it's very easy to bring up. Can you believe that Trudeau's government has they're removing Terry Fox from our passport to keep us safe? I've had it with that guy. During that trucker protest, I don't know how you felt about it, but geez, they put a flag on him, and he said they were desecrating the statue by putting a Canadian flag on Terry Fox. And now they're removing him from the passport. I'm done with them. You can leave it there. If the conversation goes further, bring up blackface. Oh, give me well, yeah, but he's done some good things. Oh, give me Mr. Blackface, who's put on blackface so many times he can't even put a number on it, and he lied about it. Bring that up. Trudeau was caught with a picture of him in blackface. He was asked, have you done it? Did you do it? Is that it? And he said, yes, that was just that one time. And then more instances came out. I think we got up to 3 or 4. And they said, wait a minute, you said it was just that one time. Now we found these other examples. Are there more than that? And Trudeau said, I can't say how many. He had lied about the number of times he'd put on blackface. You can talk about him denigrating Aboriginal, Native, First Canadians. Protesters showed up at a campaign event that he was holding for what is called the Laurier Club. You have to spend $1,500, $1,500 to attend this, special session of Liberal insiders or, Liberal supporters. And a Native protester was there to take Trudeau to task over the fact that he had committed, I think it was called the Grassy Narrows Reserve in Northern Ontario. That reserve is suffering from mercury poisoning. There's an abandoned pulp and paper mill that's leaching mercury, that's poisoning, sickening, killing people on that reserve. And Trudeau said, "Oh, we're going to fix this," and then he did nothing, and his government did nothing. And so this protester went to a Laurier Club function to take him to task. And when she stood up to protest his total ignoring of his commitment to clean up that reserve and to do something about the mercury poisoning, when that happened, the Trudeau's henchmen, his brown shirts, grabbed the woman, physically removed her from this event. And while she was being bodily removed, Trudeau had the unmitigated gall to mock her and go, "Thank you for your donation." And this is the man who's the prime minister of our country, a man with no, if his name was anything other than Trudeau, he never would have even been elected to the House of Commons. He's traded off his father's fame his entire life. How did he get a job out of school? It's because they wanted his name on the corporate roster, or on their letterhead, on their fundraising material, so that it would add to the prestige of the school. And why did he leave? We don't know. Look into that. But the simple fact of the matter is, if we cannot assume right now, polling, if the polling is to be trusted, the Liberals and Conservatives, the two main parties in Canada, are in a statistical dead heat. The difference between it's within the margin of error. So they're statistically tied. Right now, plus or minus 4%, the Conservatives are polling 35. So that means from between 31 at the low end to 39 at the high end. And the Liberals are polling 31%. So they could be down 27 to 35. So the difference is within the statistical margin of error. So it's a dead heat. Do not assume weakness. And unfortunately, in our pizza parliament, Liberal, Conservative, Bloc, NDP, Green, PPC, and goodness knows what else, with all these parties, 34, 35% is probably good enough to win the most seats in a minority parliament. Get up to 37, 38, and you're in majority territory. So talk about all the negative things. Talk about Trudeau making up his, being such a liar, making up a water bottle juice box type thing. I'm sure you know about it. Canadians of a anti-Trudeau. And one last thing, we've all seen the F Trudeau signs. Those signs play, they help drive support, because the liberal-minded voters, again, it's not just the military. You always try to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, always trying perspective. You want to try and think like the enemy. And the way Liberals will talk, Liberal Party of Canada members and supporters will talk, is they view themselves as being intellectually superior, morally superior. They view the conservative or the opposition to them as being ignorant, intolerant, and all these other negative things. And when they see an F Trudeau sign, it reinforces that image that they have of their superiority. I'm not a fan of the F Trudeau sign, not because of my I don't engage in profanity often. I will drop an F-bomb on occasion, strategically, if I think it's warranted, but I try to use it very sparingly. But that aside, that sign and that kind of behavior and that kind of rhetoric strengthens a person's resolve to vote and to be active in trying to get a jackass like Justin Trudeau reelected. So we need to be discerning, those of us opposed, because we're living in the age of identity politics on steroids, and it's all about categorizing people and putting them into a group, and birds of a feather flock together. Let's face it, there are liberal racists. We have one as prime minister. People like think, well, I can't be a racist, I'm a liberal. Oh yes, you can. Look at the way Justin Trudeau, his disgusting treatment of Jody Wilson-Raybould, our former governor, or rather our former attorney general, kind of top lawyer for the government of Canada. Look at the way he treated her, an Indigenous woman. It was absolutely mind-blowing, disgusting. And why? Why did he interfere in a criminal investigation? Because SNC-Lavalin is a major supporter, they donate a lot of money to the Liberal Party. They actually donate money to every party, but they donate heavily to the Liberal Party. They have influence, and Trudeau tried to use his influence as prime minister, and he had Jody Wilson-Raybould removed as our attorney general because she wouldn't bow down to his degree in dramatic arts or whatever. Trudeau's not a lawyer. He's not an economist. He's an actor, and he's not even a very good actor, but Canadians aren't very bright by and large. So talk, bring up the fact that Trudeau is disrespecting a Canadian hero in Terry Fox, and he's doing it to keep us safe. And he calls putting a Canadian flag on the statue of Terry Fox. He refers to that as desecration, but as having Terry Fox's image removed from our passports as being to keep us safe. You buy into that? And talk. Otherwise, it'll be the media. The media will be the message, and the media is looking to the World Economic Forum's corporate membership. Media is a major part. Look at Bell Media. Look at Thomson's Reuters. Look at them all. And look at their membership in organizations like Club of Rome or World Economic Forum. There's a reason why Trudeau, dilettante, a poser, pretender, was able to vault all the way to the most senior elected position in Canadian politics. And it's because he's got powerful friends who pushed him, who had his back. Think if Stephen Harper had worn blackface as many times as Trudeau has and lied about it, do you think he could survive that politically? Do you think he could have survived that? No chance. But Trudeau, they've got his back. Any negative reporting they do on him, it's like world wrestling. It's like a wrestling match. It's scripted. So enough. Less than 20 minutes. God bless. And again, like, subscribe, all that. You know the drill. Ending the stream. Night all.